What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Redirect. Of course, I'm Karan.
I am Shaka Kwame Zulu.
We're still making up names, apparently, for Black History Month.
I have to like make it real, you know.
I told him it's not original because he's just taking different people's names and meshing them together.
Yeah. It's self-determination. I'm making my own thing. I'm doing my own thing. With us today, as promised, we have one of the people that have helped shape me into the person that I am today as an adult. Of course, you know, I have my parents and other family members, but I've also had great mentors and people that have helped also. And one of those people is Mr. Kahe Rusan.
All right.
I'm going to have him continue introducing himself and who he is.
Well, peace and blessings. I appreciate that type of introduction.
No problem.
As he stated, my name is Kahe Rusan, community activist. By way of sociology, I like to say. My study has always been sociology. In fact, I didn't even know it was sociology when I was young. Just the matter of studying human behavior and the environment and how all those things contribute to how a person and why a person do what they do. Until my latter part of my years when I began to study it. And so with that, that assisted me with shaping me and having a worldview. So with that, here I am.
I have to say, there's one thing that you taught me that I continue using to this day.
What's that?
And I remember, like, I was in college. I was like, man, I'm about to drop out. I'm about to join the shipyard. You remember that?
You've been laid off by now.
I remember calling Kaya about it because, you know, I respect his opinion. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this school thing no more. Like, this debt, like, this studying. And I remember he was just like, I'm thinking he gonna give me an answer. And he just like, well, you know, think about it. Pretty much. And I'm like, all right, well, that's not what I was looking for.
Right.
But when I did sit and thought out like what it would be like if I stopped school and started working for another place, I was like, I'm gonna get tired of that too. And then I'm gonna want to continue my studies, and I was like, I would have just, you know, wasted time. Yeah. So to this day, like, I have a cousin that he will ask me for advice from time to time. Okay. And I do the same thing. Right. I'm not gonna give you the answer. He gets so many. He was like, why not? That's why I called you. And I'm like, bro, because you have to come to that by yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, it's so much more powerful when you come to the solution. You find a solution. And then I can't blame you and be like, you told me to do X, Y, and Z.
I mean, that's pretty much why people ask for advice. Yeah. 2 reasons. One, to ignore it. Yeah. 2, to blame you when it doesn't go in the manner in which they wanted it to go in. So I stay away from giving anyone any particular advice. But what I would do is provide the options, or allow you to see what options are available, and then you choose.
So you giving them the power, showing them what choices that they have.
I mean, that's the key. Is that
essentially what we do in counseling too. Because I don't know if Devon told you, because I know probably my second or third time really meeting you. Right. But I go to school for counseling. That's essentially what we do in counseling. You come in to see us, like I said, because they just want answers, and we're not there to give you the answers. You know? Sometimes I might want to, because like the answer is right there in front of your face. But I need you to be able to find a solution for yourself. Right. If you can't do that, then all your life you're just going to go through asking for all the answers.
And my answer may not be your answer.
Yeah, exactly. And my answer might not fit for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree with that, because that's why I had to tell him. I was like, what I would do may not work for what you do. And then you be looking at me like, Devon, you gave me the wrong wrong name, but anyway, you would get, you know, be mad at me. But so yeah, that's one of the things, one of the many things that I continue doing.
I appreciate that, man.
I mean, I appreciate you.
You know, my whole thing is always assisting wherever I can. You know, because the old adage of it takes a village. I was really raised in a village where numerous people. I'm talking about from the drug dealer to the grandmom to, you know, you name it, all variations, you know, of blackness, all variations of consciousness assisted me. So that's why I took that in, and that's what I do. Yeah. You know, so.
And you never been preachy.
Nah, try not to be. Try not to be.
He's not a hotep. He's never been preachy.
you know, you have a tendency, like when you first get into gaining knowledge of who you are and awareness and all that stuff, you want to shout it from the rooftop, you know, from the mountaintop. You want everybody to be, yo, man, you need this. But I learned early on that you can't make anybody do anything.
They have to want it.
Happiness is on them. Yeah. Period. You know, it's like even in relationships, you know, it's insanity for you to force upon someone else to be happy. Yeah. It's their job. Now it's your job to compliment whatever it is.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so
I agree.
Wise words from Mr. Kahe. Already dropping jewels in the beginning.
Yeah.
Cracking knowledge on you.
So it is a very special month, as you know.
Okay.
Number one, as I said in the last episode, it's my birth month.
Okay.
And number two, it's Black History Month. So what does Black History Month mean to you?
Oh. What does Black History Month mean to me?
Absolutely.
It may shock some people,
Mm-hmm.
but not that much. And does that mean I dislike the history of our people? Nah. But what I'm saying is you can't relegate me to a month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now it's great that we choose to celebrate it, but I just look at it as symbolism. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is we got our people that get excited when the first black woman is on Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. Or the first black quarterback did this, or so forth, so on. So I equate all that to symbolism. Mm-hmm. It's a nice gesture, you know, but the consciousness and the history of our people goes so far beyond. Now it's a starting point for those who may not even choose to acknowledge their own history. It's a starting point, but for me, since you asked me, it doesn't mean that much to me. I do understand what it means to others, so I don't infringe upon them. You know, so but for me, it's 28 days, you know, out of the month.
It's 29 this year.
29, depending upon what the leap year. Yeah.
What it sounds like you're saying is that you're black 365.
Absolutely.
That's all.
You know, the blackness is
ongoing.
It permeates through all the months for me. You know, but again, I understand for those who choose to acknowledge the 28 days, or as you say, the 29, and they're excited about it. Hey, that's peace.
I'm sorry.
No, it just reminds me of Wakanda. You know, I mean, how everyone got excited and wanted to do the dashikis and so forth, so on, and now some of those dashikis are hard to find on them. You know, so that's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I agree with that because we saw them come out at 4.
Yeah.
Even like Black Panther regalia.
Oh,
like
come on, man. Come on, man. You know, like, they had Black Panther parties and stuff from what I saw. You know,
that deep.
yeah.
But then it stopped.
And then it stopped. And I think that's the same thing with Black history. Mm-hmm. You know, you have those who celebrate it, and then when March comes, it stops.
Then we on St. Patrick's Day.
There you go.
We ain't black, we Irish.
There you go. You know.
But I do feel like it's they say it's a starting point. I feel like it's a great starting point for people who are not aware. Mm-hmm. And now I guess this 1 month is now bringing awareness to your history, you know, Black History Month, blackness in general.
Right.
So this could be a jumping point for some people to continue on their education and to grow into what about themselves.
It should elevate you. Yeah. You're right. I agree. I mean, it should elevate you, and it should be a starting point, as you said, you know, a launching pad. But it shouldn't stay there.
No. Yeah. Like I said, it should definitely keep on going all day, all year.
And that it doesn't mean that you have to go around, I'm blacker than black, you know, March, April, May, and all that. But no, I mean, your blackness is defined not just by what you wear. It's defined by your level of consciousness and just really your righteousness in terms of how you choose to interact with other people. Yeah. You can show your intelligence or your consciousness by how you interact with people that are not of your particular culture. Yeah. You know, so.
I was going to ask you what you thought blackness was, but you kind of answered that already.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny, right? I remember this old episode, and you was talking earlier before we even began. We was talking about generations. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I'm a tad bit older than you guys, just a tad bit.
I think what I said earlier was you in your late 40s. Mm-hmm. Karan's 40, and I'm 20. I'm 26. So.
Okay.
Not really 40 yet. You know, in about 11 more years.
Right.
I feel like I'm 40. These be popping.
But check it though. I brought up age because of the earlier sitcoms I choose to watch, the Sanford and Sons and all this kind of stuff like this. Okay. Those are considered classics to me. So it was one episode in particular where Fred and Lamont were going back and forth. Lamont, the son, chose to identify with his African culture. So he wanted to get the dashiki. He wanted to change the way he ate, so forth, so on. However, his attitude was poor because his father didn't quite understand why he wanted to make this change all of a sudden. You've been Lamont your whole life.
Yeah.
So now you want to change your name to Kalunda and so forth, so on, and change your name to and change your customs back to your really re-Africanizing himself. So he ridiculed his dad for the change he was making. So it was an African woman who drew Lamont's interest or Kalunda's interest, and she saw the way he was treating his dad. Yeah. So the main thing she said to him was, she said that you can put on the African garbs. Yeah. You can decorate your house with all the African statues, but it's the heart you have to change. The heart. And that's the same thing here. It's like when you ask what's blackness, you can see it in terms of your melanated body, but it's your heart that has to change. Your love for yourself, for your community, for your nation, and so forth, so on. And so that's how I define blackness. You can have all the kente this and celebrating that 28th you was talking, that 28 or 29 days you was talking about, but look at how you treat people. Yeah. You blackity black, but you can't even provide for yourself or for the ones that are near and dear to you. So blackness is so broad, but that's a microcosm of how I see it.
That's dope. Yeah. That's really dope. I know we kind of laugh when I make up these names. But you're somebody that actually has changed your name. What was the reasoning behind that? And if you feel comfortable, what was your birth given name? And we already said what you changed it to, but just kind of walk us through that if you feel comfortable to do so.
Well, I mean, I have to do it now. You put it out there.
Everybody gonna be wondering.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the reason?
Well, I mean, for those who know, I was Antoine Riddick, which was an honorable name because my mother gave me that name based on the understanding of what she had. The beauty of being raised by my mom was she never imposed upon me to think a particular way. Now, early on, it was structure in terms of going to church and things of that nature because she wanted to keep me out the elements of what could, bring me down. So that was pretty much there. But it was never really forced upon me. You need Jesus in your life, da-da-da-da-da. And she pretty much gave me the free will to do as I saw fit within restraints. So
it's like putting you in a backyard with a fence on it. Like you can go.
Go ahead out there and play. Enjoy yourself. I'm still gonna keep an eye on you occasionally. But never to the point where it was too forceful.
Yeah. She didn't smother you.
No, it didn't smother me at all. In fact, she even took the backlash because there were those who were close to her that probably wanted her to do just that. Yeah. And most of that is based off fear. That's why we do what we do. A lot of times it's based off fear. Yeah. So she had enough courage to allow me to be me, is pretty much what I'm saying, which led all the way up to 17, 18, 19. And it was really at the age of 17, I started reading the book Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. Okay. And I saw the transformation that he made. Not the change, but the transformation that he made. He redefined his reality. And it just sparked me. Bro, I remember sitting in the cafeteria at school and I'm reading it. And at that point, it's like I pushed the tray away because he talked about changing his diet in terms of the way he was eating and things of that nature. So I remember having some stuff. I can't remember quite what it was. I wanted to say it was a pork chop sandwich or whatever it was. Yeah. I know it wasn't right for me. Yeah. And I pushed it away, and I remember my classmates wanting it and ready to take it. So I was like, boom, you can have it. And it was at that time that it was Malcolm that gave me somewhat of an influence to say, yo, man, redefine your reality. And so that's what it was. I dropped that. So the first person I told was Mom. Mm-hmm. Because this could be heartbreaking, to your parents for you to go and say, Mom, I no longer want to be Antoine or whatever the case, even though she, belovedly called me Twan. Yeah. So I went to her and talked to her, and she said, I mean, if that's what makes you happy, then that's fine. Bro, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
That's the only confirmation I needed. I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I was self-determined.
Yeah.
But just to have that confirmation, you know, it was a blessing. So she was pretty much like, yo, the backyard that you talked about, she was pretty much saying, you free to go out the backyard. Do as you see fit.
Yeah.
You know, because I trust in you, the courage that I gave, or that was in me, I instilled in you. So, boom, keep it moving. And so ever since then, I started calling myself that. Until I went through the process of legally changing, you know, my name. So I did all that, man, and boom, here we are.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's very dope.
Yeah,
I want everybody to notice something that you did when you started your explanation.
Okay.
You gave praise to and respect to your mother.
Oh, no doubt.
And I liked how you started by saying that she gave me this honorable name, but it wasn't right for me.
Right.
And then you came to a point where you said, I need to do my own thing, create my own name. That resonates with me because we've had conversations in the past. I was ready to change my name. I'm like, same thing. Like, I just wanted something different. And I was like, Malcolm again, being inspired by Malcolm and the slave name and everything like that. But yeah, like, I love how you started with that. Like, that shows, that speaks to your character.
Okay.
Who you are as a man and as a person.
Right.
And,
I appreciate that.
We should do that. We should elevate the black woman at all times because black women are the pillar in the black community.
No question.
They do so much for us as far as support, guidance.
Right.
They're always on the front lines with us when we go through struggles, conflicts, civil rights, slavery, Jim Crow.
Right.
You won't ever find a time where the black woman's just sitting back, not doing nothing.
I mean, even when we ruled, I mean, just to add on to what you're saying, the good times as well as the bad times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just, I mean, yes, she's definitely been there through the turmoil, but also at the times. In fact, she was ruler, at one particular point, while we set aside her on the throne. So, I mean, definitely black woman powerful. Yeah.
And here at Read Rap, we just want to let y'all know that.
Yeah, no question.
I was like, about to say something.
I'm gonna say that. Go ahead. I feel like this episode, I'm kind of just like taking all this in because like I feel like I'm really getting a chance to know who Kahe really is.
Okay.
Because I only met you on brief occasions, so it's like I'm really here just soaking all this in.
I got you. Yeah.
Do that and at the same time give your perspective because that's valued as well.
It is. But,
we want to hear from you too. But I do get what you're saying.
We'll see how this goes. I'm just in awe right now because I said this great man I'm getting to know.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
A little bit of everything. You say, getting a peek into me. This is a portion of me.
A portion,
And the reason why
the whole book.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that, not to go back and forth with you. I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. My thing is to remove the pedestal. Because I don't want anyone to put me on a pedestal. And I appreciate the admiration because I admire y'all as well. Because y'all remind me of me and some of my brothers at this particular age and doing some of the things that you're doing. So that's to be applauded as well. We need more men such as yourself. Doing what you're doing. So it goes back and forth. You give me, I give you as well.
Give all around.
Absolutely, reciprocity.
We change our roles from teacher to student, back and forth.
Absolutely.
That's cool. I know we talked about elevating the black woman and how important the black woman is in the black community. But the camaraderie and respect amongst the men in the black community is also something that's important. So I'm just glad that we can be here. To converse, to talk about these different topics.
Right.
Explore. You know what I mean? What is problematic is when we have that lack of respect. Yeah. When we have the lack of respect for life, liberty, and just this general respect for people. Right. And we saw that, I think recent, I don't know how long ago it was. Okay. But we had the case of the woman in Baltimore. And I just wanted to make sure I got everything right. But she was 21 years old. Okay. Right. Younger than everybody here. She had her own beauty store. being an entrepreneur. You know, I don't know what led up to that, but that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
you know, for anybody to say I'm gonna start my own business,
to be so young doing it too.
Absolutely. So she does this. She was a mother to a 1-year-old, but then she starts having problems. People start stealing from the store.
Right.
And when I say people, I mean people that look like her.
Okay.
So other black. This is a black woman.
Okay.
Other black people stealing from her store. Mm-hmm. It gets so bad to the point where she has to call the cops.
Right.
Then after that, people come in and assault her. I think that's when she called the cops. Then after that, people come in, unfortunately, shoot her and end her life. Those tragic stories bring up so many emotions within me. Because I'm just like, why? You know?
Right.
Because, you know, every time they talk about a murder, it's not just one life that's lost, it's multiple.
Right.
Because you have the person that committed the crime.
Right.
Yeah.
You about to say something? Oh. So, yeah, I'm looking at this story and I'm just like, why?
Right.
You know, like, why does this have to happen? Like, she's trying to do something positive, like, and then you start going through the questions of like, well, should we get back to the difficult, challenging areas, like, or should we just distance ourselves from those toxic people that don't mean us well? What is your idea?
Well, it's interesting you say toxic because you know, when you're talking about, well, let me rewind a little bit. It's definitely unfortunate that happened to her. Yeah. Because you know, the child has to bear the effects of it as well.
Absolutely.
And it's familiar to me, not just that incident, but something personal in my family as well. So I'm definitely you know, remorseful and feel you know, to send condolences out to that particular family. Yeah. And, you know, and hope that everyone, you know, send that positive energy and prayer to uplift that baby that has to deal with that now. Yeah. That the child, I mean, that their mother is gone. But when you said something about toxic, and then you started by saying why. Trauma, generational trauma. Yeah. From generation to generation to generation, traumatic experience, and then you're like, what is trauma? You know, like that overwhelming event that it's difficult for you to have the abilities to cope with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can go back to slavery, and we can start there. That can be the starting point. Yeah. That's not all, but we can use that as a starting point of all the traumatic experiences. Yeah. From that to Jim Crow to redlining
Convict Lisa,
so forth, so on, and just all the trauma. Yeah. Now from that traumatic umbrella and all the things that come under it, then you get stress. Yeah. You say, damn. Now, okay, stress gets a bad rap because stress is a part of life.
It is.
Now, there are multiple layers to stress, but we're going to just deal with 3 for now. You got positive stress.
Yeah, you better say that.
Tolerable stress and toxic stress. Toxic stress, well, we're going to start with the first. Positive. I mean, positive can be, you got 2 job offers. Yeah. You got a little bit of anxiety. Damn, man, which one should I take? This one is this. You start weighing out the pros and cons. Then you got the tolerable stress where it could be something that, loss of a loved one. Loss of a loved one where the stress levels go up during the times of maybe Christmas or for those who, you know, holidays, special times of the year. And then, you know, once those things subside, it can kind of go down and, you know, and so, you know, and then you have the toxic where it's just like, it's continuous. Yeah. And I think for us, toxic and tolerable are interchangeable because we have normalized it. Well, our stress level and our tolerance levels are high. Yeah. We can deal with almost any and everything.
And we're so resilient.
However, we have those in our community, man, that don't have the coping skills to deal with the adverse terrain that we're placed upon or placed in. So it's easy for me to look at you as an enemy. Yeah. You know, and it's easy for me to say, shit, I'll take this nigga such.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so when you ask the why, that's part of what I see where it's nothing for me if I have the maladaptive coping skills, which are short term, to go in there and take somebody else because shit, she don't need it anyway.
Yeah.
Who the hell she thinks she is to come in the community and build this, that, and the third?
She thinks
she's better than me. That's what I'm talking about the coping skills. You got the maladaptive and you got the adaptive. The maladaptive are short term and quick fixes.
Yeah.
You know,
the instant gratification.
The instant gratification of whatever.
Yeah.
To try to numb whatever I'm feeling because I don't like you anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so we act upon those as opposed to, you know, having those adaptive skill sets, man, to deal with the adverse, you know, situations we're going through.
All that you were saying about all the stress and maladaptive and all that, that and not be able to cope, that just bring me on to like my background of counseling. Like that's why mental health is so important.
Right.
Especially for me personally, I feel like it's important for us in the Black community to, you know, to seek out that mental health help. It's like, I know we all see that as a weakness, and for somebody who's going through training and all that, it's not a weakness.
Right.
It's a sign of strength. No, you can go here and get the help that you need. To me, that's showing that you're strong and you're willing to accept the help that you can need. Because, like I said, going through that the toxic communities, everybody not knowing how to cope with stuff, and then everybody doing all these adverse things, and now making everything is stressful. But if people know how to cope with things, how to deal with certain things, and then they can let me turn this toxic stress into a little bit more tolerable stress, where I can know how to deal with this. Like when the situation arises, now I know how to deal with this type of situation. And then maybe we won't lead to the whole, now I got to steal from her because she's better than me. Now let me figure out me, what's going on with me, so I can deal with my stuff. Right. That's just my whole spiel about I mean, the whole mental health professional.
It makes sense, you know, and mental health is what I do as well. You know, we started off with the introductions. I don't even like claiming titles and all that kind of stuff. That's why I just kind of gave it quick, fast. But mental health, man, and I would even redefine that because it's really not mental health when a person going through issues mentally. It's mental illness, you know, and that's part of it because I think we use those interchangeably in this. It's not, you know, when someone does the things we just described in terms of shooting someone, you know, because this young lady established a business and things of that nature, you know, that's mental illness. You know, that's mental illness where it could be deep depression or schizophrenia or bipolar, so forth, so on. You know,
something that hasn't been sought out.
Something that hasn't been managed. You know, because now if you know, you know, you're speaking on mental health. Right now, they changing it from conflict resolution to conflict management. Basically saying that conflict is never resolved. Saying that you find ways to manage the conflict. And in fact, I can't remember where I saw it at, where they talk about conflict as debt. And saying that you never get rid of debt. You only manage it. And so they kind of drawing the comparisons to conflict and saying the same thing, that you know, pretty much manage it. You know, which goes back to those levels of stress we just finished talking about, tolerating certain things, you know, as opposed to allowing it to become so toxic that you want to be toxic to someone else.
That's interesting. It makes me think about, well, number one, I feel more comfortable knowing that we have yourself that's in the mental health field. You also, I'm in it as well, but just you doing the counseling thing, you know, you will be an individual that has more understanding, and hopefully you'll use that understanding to help, you know, people that look like you and who don't look like you, but you know, we're talking about Black history and everything. The people that look like you understand what's going on within their lives, so that they don't go out and commit heinous crimes or hurt themselves in the process. It also makes me think about Elijah Anderson. Code of the Streets was the book he wrote. I believe it's the title of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he talks about how you have the street families, and the other families, I think they were called the decent families and the street families, and how they live by different codes. The street families, their main concern is survival. What can I do that enables me to live another day? So that comes with how do I present myself?
Right.
Do I need to harm this person because if I don't, they're going to harm me? Just different things like that that people who don't live in those environments don't have to necessarily worry about, right? I'm pretty sure we've all worked with teenage boys that have been from lower SESs, right? One of the main challenges that I've had working with those individuals is that they focus mainly on their survival skills.
Yes.
And they use coping skills that they know work for sure, which is mainly marijuana, alcohol, other illicit drugs, fighting. Because for them, if I'm angry or stressed out and all I gotta do is smoke, I'm gonna do it because I know it works for sure. You're telling me to go sit and count and do all this other kind of stuff, deep breathing. Like that don't work for me, and I'm not even going to entertain it because it sounds dumb. Number one, and number two, that's something new.
Yeah,
I don't know how long that takes to help me, but I know if I do these other things, it's going to help.
Right.
So I think having that understanding too is like, how can we, as people in the mental health field, work with individuals better, understanding that they are most of them just using survival skills.
Well, I like to live by the saying of you can only plant the seed, and you may not be there once it blossoms. So the breathing techniques and the counting and things of that nature.
Definitely seeds planted.
Yeah. You might not see it as beneficial, but you just don't know. Those are strategies. Yeah. But I think that one of the major strategies is if you can have that person one-on-one, role playing and modeling, are key.
Yeah.
When the young man gets to see his behavior, when you model that, in the process of role playing, I mean, he gonna laugh. Man, Mr. Rusan, you crazy, man. I don't be doing that. Like, no. This is how you look. This is what you sound like. Yeah. He gets to peek into not being able to see himself.
Yeah.
And that's what all of us. It's like sometimes we need someone on the outside to be the director.
Yeah.
When you playing in the middle of that movie and say, cut. Look, man, let me tell you, you was doing this, that, and the third. That's all of us. We need someone that we can trust to call us out and say, look, man, this is what I see. Yeah. And then it's up to you to change that behavior. The thing is, well, like I just said, someone they can trust.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, you're talking about these young men that went through traumatic experiences, whatever it may be. Lost his dad to the penile system, or mom is doing whatever, or working 4 jobs, or whatever the case. Yeah. That's traumatic.
Yeah.
So here you come as a mental health professional talking about counting backwards or things of that nature. But if you can meet that young man where he is and let him see that he can trust you. Yeah. And how does that come about? By building a rapport.
Definitely.
So now you got to build a rapport based on whether he likes Lil Uzi Vert or whomever it may be.
Fortnite's a big one for all these kids.
Fortnite, you know what I'm saying? And then you have to be able to meet him where he at and just bring him up.
Yeah.
So.
And it's crazy that you bring up all that. It reminds me of a story of me working with a young male.
Okay.
I had a young male and a female in my office one time trying to prevent them from getting in trouble. And then they both talking about things they shouldn't talk about, like fighting and stuff, trying to fight somebody and all that. Say, we don't need to be talking about that. Let's redirect and try to think about something positive.
Right.
So they eventually decided to get up and just walk out my office. I was like, y'all know if y'all walk out, y'all gonna get in trouble, y'all get caught.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to fall down behind him, and he's like, don't follow me, Mr. Walker. I'm gonna beat you up. Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
So eventually, later on that day, he does end up getting into a fight during lunch. So now his mom is up here in the office, and I go down in the office with him to make sure he's good.
Okay.
And he was telling about what happened and whatnot. I said, so what if somebody's messing with me and whatnot? And I tell them leave me alone, and they start following me and whatnot. And I said, look, man, leave me alone. I said, what should I do? He said, you should knock them out. You should fight them. You should knock them out. I said, so what you're saying is I should have fought you. And his mouth just dropped like, oh. Like, he got that whole perspective change now. Like, I did do that to Mr. Walker. And I'm telling Mr. Walker he should have knocked me out. But I wouldn't want that. So, like, I need you to see this different perspective, like what I'm trying to get you to see. So, trying to change that whole mindset. But granted, it's hard because, like, they go through so much stress and traumatic events. These kids nowadays, for real, some of them be having some PTSD.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially in some of the neighborhoods they come from.
I would argue that all of us do. You know, and again, it's all in how we're able to manage it. I would say that we have tapped into the cognitive ability to be able to manage, you know, the PTSD, you know, where they haven't because they don't have the tool set. And here we are, the Superman, you know, and so we have to be able to assist them with being able to gain or regain what's already laying dormant in them. You know, we're not going to be able to get all of them.
No.
Yeah.
The whole Superman, I hate being looked at as Superman in this field.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the most stressful thing because like these parents and teachers, they just like, oh, Mr. Walker, just get Mr. Walker, he can handle it. Y'all trying to get me handle like 15, 30 kids at once. I can't do this.
Yeah, you dad, you uncle, you big brother. Yeah. Sometimes you maybe even looked at as the husband. Yeah. You know, and what I mean by that is the surrogate father when you come in and you know you and mom tag team in terms of strategies to assist the child. So I get it.
I even had parents that pretty much just drop their kids off on us and like, there you go, 6 hours. I'll be back at the school day.
Yeah, you have those too.
Don't answer the phone when you need them or nothing.
Yeah, you have those as well.
Boy. As much as I enjoy this field, it does have its stressors. And as mental health professionals, we all know we got to make sure we take care of ourselves because we can't take care of ourselves. Then how can we take care of others?
You're going to burn out and not be able to do anything. You're not going to be useful to yourself or to that.
Yeah, you got to learn how to decompress, you know, and find, I mean, you can't give all these young men these type of strategies and you're not using them for yourself. You know, so. Yeah.
Which is a challenge in and of itself.
So because we in this road doesn't mean we have it all figured out.
Nah.
which is why it's important for you to find someone that's alike and build upon the issues that you may have, which most men don't. You know, women have circles. Sister circles. You know, and we don't. Why don't we? I always think that part of it is because I can't go to you and tell you what's going on with me personally because I may be looked upon as less than a man.
Or weak.
You know, weak. You know, but again, it's just like that relationship between you and that young man, that trust. If you trust that person, then you should be able to go to, you know, him and say, look, man, how do you deal with such and such? Because this is what I'm going through. We need that. That's coming up too.
Because I let my kids know, like, Mr. Walker's not perfect. Like, I still struggle with some of my own battles. And sometimes, depending on what it is, I might suck the clothes with them so they can, like, Mr. Walker's human just like me. Like, he have his own battles that he's dealing with outside of trying to help me with mine.
Yeah, no question. You know, that's all of us, man. And that's what I'm saying. When we begin to remove ourselves from the issues that they have and say, I ain't got it, I'm good. No, all of us are going through something. You know, their issues may be broader because they don't have the ability to deal with it. You know, but all of us are going through something, man.
Definitely.
You know.
So what we've done is analyze that incident I brought up with the female being murdered in her shop by 2 individuals.
Right.
Well, actually, I don't think they even found the people, but it's speculated it was the 2 people that I think fought her in the shop. But we've looked at what kind of mindset those people may have had and what could have caused them to do that. That doesn't take away from the fact that she was still murdered.
Right.
You know, with that comes anger, confusion, frustration. The want for justice. How do we prevent this from happening in the future? Or, you know, we have the conversation like, shouldn't have been there anyways. Like, she should have just went across town to the safer spot and did it. Like, you know, how do we change that? Like, should we have these conversations about not putting up businesses? So we just stop doing that because Leon down the street is going to mess it up anyways? Or, you know, what should we do with this?
Like to say, maybe like, don't open up your own beauty shop. Let the Chinese people continue opening up their beauty shops in our communities and stuff like that, and we just go open up one somewhere else, maybe.
Or not do it at all because you know that if you do, people just gonna mess it up. I know we've all heard that before. They either say don't go to that black shop because you're not gonna get good business, or they say don't open up a business in this black area because it's just gonna get robbed, or you're gonna be harmed, or X, Y, and Z.
All of that comes from trauma. All the options that you just laid out on the table, from not opening up at all to letting the Asians, do it. All that comes from some form of traumatic experience or event. I like to say experience because it still goes on. Whereas we are so dysfunctional in our thinking that we would rather say, nah, I don't want, man, you know what, let's not even have a business around here. Let's go across town or what have you. It's a pool of resources, economics within our community. It has to be there, because why are, as you said, other communities come and say, shoot, we can benefit right here. I think we have to be able to deal with the mindset of our folks. I think if we understand who we are, then we can understand the people we're dealing with. And we do. Of course we do, because, as you said, the mental health field, we're dealing with the mental health field, so we know what we're dealing with. It's a layered question. I would like to think that we can build an economic structure within our community, as opposed to allowing someone else to do it and say, let's go across town or what have you. It ain't for everybody. I say it like this. Because when it comes to our people, like as you said, this is Black History, since we're talking about our people. Whatever you bring up, whether you're talking about a store, whether you're talking about an organization, you have two things I think that are ingredients when it comes to that. Interest and commitment. You can always get Black people interested in something.
Always,
But it's hard to get them to commit. Whether you're talking about my store or whether you're talking about an organization. Hey man, I'm trying to start this organization to do da-da-da-da-da. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, we're going to be meeting this day, and we're asking for just a small fee just to keep us running.
Can't do that.
I don't know about all that.
Da-da-da-da-da-da, so the commitment ain't there. Now let's put the business that you're talking about. Now look, I want to start a beauty supply, in the community. Everybody else is doing it. So I feel like, why not keep it circulating in our community? Oh, that sounds good. I'm interested. I got to charge slightly more because it's difficult for me to get the supplies, as opposed to Asians who can just call such and such back and get it
just
for
like that, cheap price.
So it's gonna cost a little more. No, I'd rather go to. So the commitment is not there.
Or can I get a discount?
So I think the interest and the commitment, man, that weighs heavy when you're talking about building anything, within our community. So if you can get the commitment. So I think the question is how or why. You have to show consistency. I think if you show consistency, despite the gunshots, despite the traumatic experiences that are going on, the trauma that's going on around, if you can show consistency, they still here. I think the people will funnel in, and
what's keeping them
support
strong.
you.
It's so dope that you said that. I have conversations with my supervisor all the time, and she talks about building rapport with clients and how you just have to keep continuously showing up. She tells me that all the time. She's like, you have a relationship with your clients, Devon, and yes, they get angry with you sometimes or upset, but they know that Mr. Brock is going to come back each week or however many times I come out to see him during that month. She said they know that to be true because you're consistent.
Right.
So it's almost like the community is a macrocosm of working with the individual client.
Absolutely.
The community has to buy into what you're doing because the community's been hurt, because the community doesn't trust easily. And they have to know, unfortunately it is this way, they have to know, are you going to be here?
Right.
Can you stand the violence, the gunshots, the cracked window, or the kids being loud outside your store? Can you stand it? They're going to test you.
Indeed. And then, also it's the type of business that you choose to put in the community. Some businesses may may be necessary for you to go out and start and then come back.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not opposed to any of it. You know, these are all, you know, options we're putting on the table.
Yeah.
It may be that particular business to say, you know what, I got to go out here in this particular community to build up, and then come back here and invest in our community. But it's the issue that arises when you choose not to invest in the community at all. Because you say, man, the hell with that, man. Hell with these niggas and da-da-da-da-da, you know. And that's been the mindset of many of our people, not just for the community, but when it comes to us in general.
Yes.
You know, once we have accumulated certain things, it's like, man, the hell with them.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't even know.
Start seeing ourselves better than them. So
And
they use the same reasons we brought up. They just gonna tear me down. They just gonna bring me down. Which, to an extent, is true. To an extent, it's true.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To an extent. Not in its totality. So I can agree. To an extent, Which leads to, I think you had shot something to me, and I wanted to talk about it right now. You talked about the crabs in the barrel syndrome.
Absolutely.
You know, like you said, to an extent, the crab in the barrel syndrome. But did we ever question where the barrel came from?
No.
Like, we're talking about the crabs inside the barrel, and they all getting on top of each other. They're trying to get out.
Pushing everybody else down so they can
who created the barrel? Or who put the crabs in the barrel?
I didn't think about it like that, to be honest.
So it's a constraint. Or a restraint. It's keeping our folks, like I was telling you about, and as you put in terms of my mom, in the backyard, allow me, once she recognized I got to where I need to be, and say, you know what, go. No, not when it comes to our folks. Ain't nobody saying, you know what, these folks are where they should be. Open it up or dump the barrel. No, it's beneficial for someone to keep the mentality of the crab or the crab mentality in that barrel. You know, so it goes back to the sociology in terms of the terrain, the environment. How is this environment, why was it created in the first place? You know, to keep the crabs in a particular subjected area, and it makes it difficult for them to get out of it. So I always like to question the barrel itself as opposed to the crabs.
I ain't never think about it like that before. We just
remember, we touched on that in episode 2.
Okay.
We talked about understanding why things are the way that they are. And I remember I had a conversation this morning actually with my mom talking about how, you know, that old saying, if you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book.
Okay.
A lot of us aren't students of history. And remember I said this episode 2, and I said, and it shows based on what we say and what we do. Because if you study history, if you study your communities and your country, you'll have a better understanding of why your people act the way they do. Why certain crime is happening. Why we have the barrel. Why we climbing on top of each other, you know, instead of building stairs, we're climbing on top of each other. You know? And
it's not about blaming anyone. It's about, as you just said, being able to study and gain an understanding of, these are the conditions, and this is how the conditions came about, and so forth, so on. Okay, now, how can I rectify my situation based on the conditions? It goes back to when you asked me about name changing and all that kind of stuff. Reclaiming yourself to the point where you redefine your reality, man. So if we can get an individual to redefine his reality, recognizing that, yo, man, this is just a portion, man. You know, you're going through this, that, and the third, but let's project further in what you can be. You know, so
you said this, and I want to ask you this because I know it's gonna be a powerful answer.
Okay.
You said we have to remember who we are. What did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you know, we done talked about slavery and many other things, but, you know, the history is so much richer than that, you know, and I'm talking about, and this is not to glorify Africa and even Americas, because the first American was a black American. We'll talk about that at another time in depth as well. But the thing is, all of us weren't kings and queens.
No.
So we don't. I mean, we can, instead of going around, what's up, my dog, and all this kind of stuff. Peace, King. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
But all of us weren't of that royal status.
We have to have that understanding.
Yeah,
because we don't want to romanticize it.
No. So many of us were blacksmiths.
Goat herders.
Yeah, goat herders. Still, ain't nothing wrong with that.
All play a role.
Right. So my thing is, we want to, like you said, not romanticize the history, but give a rich, what's the word I'm looking for? In-depth idea or mindset of what our history entails. I like to look at it like this, and I always use this when it comes to my own motivation versus inspiration. Motivation is that external thing that keeps, that pushes you, towards whatever goal it may be. It may be the history or what have you. Man, our people did this and that. That could be motivation.
Yeah.
That could push you. But the inspiration is that internal drive that despite, what happened in the past in terms of your ancestors being so great, or this particular person giving you the word of, hey man, you can do it. And when that person is not there, you still have to drive to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's what, I always like to look at those two things, motivation versus inspiration. So.
Okay.
So motivation coming from the outside.
Motivation is external.
Inspiration coming inside.
Regardless to what, regardless to not having that person push you anymore.
Yeah.
That
It's
person
still there.
is still there because it was in you already.
Yeah.
The person outside of you just, was the external, force pushing you towards whatever goal it may be.
Yeah.
Whatever decision it was. Hey man, you can do it, man. But it's still within you, man, whether you choose to do it or not. So, and that's what our folks.
Yeah.
Do you think with that understanding, being at the foundation or part of the foundation, we can fix our communities, improve them to the point where we have less of this internal hatred, animosity, and just dread?
Yeah. Can you repeat that question again?
You're fine. So
Yeah.
I'm saying, you're saying like by having that understanding of who we are, where we come from.
I got you now. Yeah. I think that's part of it, and I would be foolish to sit here and think that that's the only thing. Foundation is laid with multitude of things, and if you think, the foundation is knowledge and that's it, no,
not at all.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
But knowing who you are is not enough to change someone's reality.
Yeah.
It's part of it. The young men that all of us deal with that we just finished talking about, we can tell them, hey man, did you know you come from kings and queens?
Yeah.
That's not enough.
No, it's not.
You got to give them something tangible. First of all, take them to get something to eat.
Yeah.
So
bring that up.
you have to, and what I mean by take them to get something to eat means reality.
Yeah.
You help them to change their reality. Shit, they might not even eat all day. And here you are talking about royalty and so forth, so on. Like, okay, boom. A fed belly can hear you much better now.
Yes.
If you're hungry, I'm not worried about that. Like going back to my knees. I need my knees met first.
Yeah, I remember the first time you told me that because we was having a conversation. I want to give the people the knowledge. I want them to understand. And you was like, well, if they're hungry, they ain't gonna listen to you. So you gotta, like Quran was saying, you have to meet them where they're at first.
Yeah.
And you can't come all high and mighty. I'm gonna give you this knowledge because you need it. They're gonna be like, right, I got holes in my feet are cold.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about being a king. I ain't a king right now.
Yeah. And give them some of your background. In terms of some of your hardship that you've been through. It makes you more relatable. And that's how the trust comes in. Because I didn't start like this. Even though my mom instilled a lot of me, it's a lot of stuff I did that, that other people got caught for. So, it's a lot of stuff I did. I had that village around me that snatched me up, say, oh, hell no. And so that's what we come in at. We have to do the same thing.
Like we said, give them a piece of your background and stuff like that. Because I had one kid I used to work with. I used to, pretty much when I go get him, take him get something to eat all the time.
Right.
So he's like, Mr. Walker, you rich? I said, no, I'm not rich. We going to Wendy's. And we eating off, the $1 meal, $2 meal.
Right.
And like, one thing he told me, he said, Mr. Walker, you have my dream car. I have a bright green Honda Civic.
Okay.
To me, that's nothing special, but to him, I see that means a lot to him.
Absolutely.
Now I told him, man, this is an attainable goal that you can achieve. Now I told him, I didn't always have this type of lifestyle that I have. I told him, I grew up in the projects pretty much poor, no single parent, no multiple kids. So then I worked through things to make sure that I could get the things that I want in life. I'm saying you can easily do that too. Because I know, granted, it's hard when they live in situations. It's hard. Like, you can't really remove them. Like, I just want to take you and just move you here so you can have a better life. The harsh reality is they have to learn to live with that.
In that environment.
Yes. And
so if you're right. You can't take them out of the environment physically. But you can take them out mentally by, providing, necessary structure mentally that they can deal with. Myself, I went through some adverse situations when I was younger. Yeah. But it was mom as well as the village that instilled certain things in me that made me mentally fit. And that leads to the other thing. I don't think many of our folks are mentally fit. Everybody want to be physically fit. Got all the muscles, but are not brolic when it comes to mental aspect. And so physically fit is one area, but you have to be emotionally fit, mentally fit, and spiritually fit.
Absolutely.
And I think things I'm still working on.
And myself. I think all of us are, and I think many of us neglect that though. So.
Yeah, we all ain't none of us perfect.
Nah, well, you know what? Perfect. If you look at the etymology of perfect, once you peel back all the layers, it really means balance.
Please elaborate on that.
Now, people look at perfect from a romantic aspect of meaning no flaws. Nah, as long as you're human, there's always going to be flaws. That's why we have to be careful being judgmental. But when you look at the word perfect, it just means balance, having balance. So, how's your day? How's your day today? Oh, it's perfect, man. Meaning balance. Yeah. The day is that day where perfection has ruled. It's balance. I mean, it's a good day. I was able to connect with my clients. Yeah. They got a full understanding of what I was talking about. Yeah. I had a good meal. I chilled with my lady.
Got some good sleep, whatever.
Had some good sleep. Yeah. And I'm rejuvenated. Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. It doesn't consist all the time because imbalance finds a way to impede upon that balance. So when you say I'm not perfect, I would disagree. There are days that you may not be that way, but perfection is something we strive for, which is balance, something we strive for.
I read this in a book that I bought yesterday. Tell me how I feel about this, if it's even relatable. It said that knowing that you're not perfect is a perfect way to start.
How you feel about this? Definitely relates.
Yeah,
it relates to what you just said.
Knowing that you're not balanced is a perfect way to start.
Yeah. When I bought that book, I said the book got so many jewels in it. I had to buy it. Yeah. That's one thing that stuck out to me. Now I told Devon earlier that it said that not everyone wins chess by moving forward. Sometimes you have to move backwards to set yourself in a position to win.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it. After I saw that, I closed the book up, put it on my arm, so I got to buy this. I don't care how much it costs.
You want to share with us what that book was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Give me one second.
The name of it?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
You had it ready to go.
I was reading it on the ride here.
Okay.
1,000 little things happy, successful people do differently.
Okay.
That sounds cool.
Like $20, but I ain't care. Like after I saw that, I said, this is like stuff that is empowering for me.
Because you weren't just interested, you was committed to.
Yeah.
That's the two ingredients I was talking about. Yeah. Now, you trying to feed that to someone, and they're like, that sound good. Or it's $20. I ain't committed to it.
Yeah. So I went in the store looking for something else.
Okay.
And I said, let me take a look at it. It looked interesting. I read that. Boom. Commitment was going through the roof. I said, I gotta get it now.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we apply interest and commitment to the Black community also. Yeah. We can change the way we view it. We can help put us in a position to where we can improve it. I think understanding that the Black community will never be perfect, in the sense that we would look at it before with the understanding of what you said about balance. Okay. Perfect in the sense of everything being a utopia. Yeah. We won't have a utopia. That's just realistic. But we can create a balanced community to the point where there's, I guess, equal amount of stress, negative stress and positive stress, because negative stress is always going to be there. Positive stress is going to be there as well. And we have to do better with recognizing the positive things that are within the community. Yes, we have tragedies, but every community has tragedies. Yes. I know we have the whole myth of black on black crime. People believing that black people are more violent and we kill each other more than any other group of people. That's a lie. You know, most crime is intraracial. Right. It happens. Crime happens in the areas. I'm trying to explain. I just lost my train of thought.
Well, you're speaking on the reason why people commit crimes is based on localities.
Yes. Yep.
You know,
proximity.
Proximity.
Yep. And opportunity.
Yeah.
So if I'm a black man and I live in a black community, the people I commit and I want to commit crimes, the people I commit my crimes against are going to be most likely black.
But it's also fear. You know, it's also fear. You talk about black on black crime. The great Dr. Amos Wilson, you know, wrote a book, Black on Black Crime. And he was, for those who don't know, he's one of our great scholars who passed away. And his background was in sociology and dealing with the mind and, you know, mental processing things. And one of the things he said was, there's no such thing as black on black crime. And if you identify it as such, it's only because of white on black crime. And white on black crime has been the equalizer of what's manifested black on black crime. So based on white folks imposing their will physically in a abuse to black folks, that we have internalized that and done it to the people, like you just said, that are close to us. When you talk about committing crimes, not to say that we are endorsing or encouraging our people to go do it to other neighborhoods, but they'll be more prone to do it to our folks as opposed to white folks. In fact, not just crime in terms of physical harm, but whatever we choose to do, we'll do it to each other and let some white folks come around and we'll straighten up. Boy. I mean, I'm talking about, like I just said, it don't have to be physical harm. We can be just joking and dogging each other out. You this, you that, you stupid motherfucker. Soon a white person gone, we're straightening up.
Boy, sorry to cut you off. I remember I was working in a middle school, low income middle school. Majority of the population was black students. Then, you know, the schools always get their visitors. Now, on a normal day, the school is crazy, wild. You can't control them. Right. Soon as those visitors came in, that was different from us. That school was, you would think we was a perfect school. I'm like, now y'all want to act like this because of these people coming in? Y'all trying to show like we're good, no, we're perfect. Like, then as soon as they leave, y'all just go right. I'm like it's
an internal thing.
It definitely is, but it's that is brought back memories.
And did you see? It was a video on YouTube where this black woman was beating her child. She got a call from the school.
Yes, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
She was like came out the cafeteria and then she had the belt.
Yeah, she came with the belt, I think, like wrapped around her like she was ready to roll. Like a
superhero.
Yeah. And,
elementary school kid, right?
Yeah. And she was whap. And then she got down, you know, like the kid's side. And I think she bumped into a white woman. You know, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. And went right back to whipping on the boy. And this is what I'm talking about the internal fear, the mechanism that we had that just turns it off whenever white folks are around. And when they ain't around, we just go to acting. And I saw that, man, and one of the things I was just thinking about was just the dysfunction that we talked about when it comes to our folks. You know, and it's not about hating other communities. It's about, you know, Dr. Cress Welsing, another one of our great scholars, she was talking about this. She said that self-love is the highest.
Absolutely.
Like, if you really love yourself, it will permeate throughout to everyone else. And that's when everyone else will be like, it's something different about him. You know, it's just the love for self.
Absolutely.
And I got enough where I'm willing to extend to you. You know.
Absolutely. In closing, as we wrap this up, I would like for you to share something powerful you've learned regarding to Black history, the Black community over the years. I think it's important to note that you are one of those people that's able to learn from so many different sources. I know you've been influenced by 5%ers, Nation of Islam, and not just black groups, like other groups of people as well, because everybody has something that you can use as a benefit to yourself. Right. But what's something that you'd like to share?
In regards to what the people can take with them, or
both. One, an interesting fact, because I also want them to learn. You know, it is Black History Month, so learn up, and also something for them to take away.
Okay. An interesting fact.
He just threw you on the spot, didn't
he? Yeah.
He didn't give you time to think. He gave everything else in advance.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's so many interesting facts. Yeah. So to narrow it down to one, I just throw out Marcus Garvey. You know, many people may not be aware of Marcus Garvey and what he did. You know, as we talk about economic development, you know, Garvey had a ship called the Black Star Line, where his whole thing was for those who wanted to go back to Africa, we can get on this ship and go. But before then, he had established an economic base in the community. Was the community back then like it is now? Probably not. But I'm sure it was some adversity there. Yeah. Because it was a black man who sold Garvey out. So the mentality was still there. Garvey still persevered, and his whole thing was do for self. So I would leave folks with that. Do for self. That's broad, but it's some specifics in that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what was the other half of that question?
I think you kind of put them together. Okay. Which is dope.
Okay.
Do for self.
Okay.
If you take away anything from this, loving yourself, placing yourself on a level where you respect and honor yourself daily. And loving yourself.
Self-love, like you said.
Self-love.
Gotta learn to love yourself first.
Yep, you gotta love yourself first. And then doing for self.
Right.
If you want to fix things in your personal life, you're gonna have to do for self. And you want to fix things in your community, it starts with you first.
Before you can help anybody else, you gotta make sure you're good.
Absolutely.
Growth and development.
Yeah.
Growth and development.
That book got some positive things about that too. I better go.
You're a spokesperson for Kahe, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
Your perspective. It was greatly appreciated.
Yo, I appreciate y'all having me. You know, I look at different shows or whatever. You know how guests always say, "Well, thanks for having me." No, I really mean that, bro.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. I really appreciate you guys extending the hand out.
Definitely.
Yeah. And would you like to share your project? Because I know that everybody love listening to this. Like, yo, this dude's speaking facts.
It's gonna be the episode that get us 20 views. I will have more views than that, hopefully.
Yeah, I do have something I'm working on right now. It's still in its infancy stages, and it's pretty much for everything that we talked about, in terms of laying foundation.
Yeah.
And you go to lay foundation. When you're talking about building something, let's use a house for example. When you're talking about building a house, there's certain things that go into laying a foundation, and brick is part of it. And brick is an acronym for balance, respect, integrity, character, and knowledge. And those are the things that me and a partner of mine, we highlighted that are the necessities to build up men. Now, why did I say men? Because men are how can I say this? We talked about support systems or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be a support system for men to build themselves to become better men for their women, for their families, community, and nation as a whole. And anything outside of that, universally. I think that, we can make America great again by building black men to be black men. So that's part of what's going to be in the process of making. So hopefully you guys will have me on when next time, and I can share more about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We will definitely bring him back because I know you guys love listening to him. And then when his project is up and running, we'll also let you guys know about that so you guys can listen to him too, because this dude is deep. This was just the surface. But trust me, there's so much more to him. But yeah, thank you. Thank you
again,
everybody
bro.
for watching.
Make sure I know he gonna forget, Make sure you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and also YouTube if you prefer to watch the video of us. But if you just want to listen to us on the go, Apple and Spotify. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Ain't nothing happening right now on Twitter, but still follow us.
Go follow the Twitter page. We got like one follower there. We're struggling.
Wow. Support one follower.
Support black business.
Interest and commitment. Remember that.
Yeah, interest and commitment.
And we're committed.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for allowing us to redirect your attention during this time. Peace.